And good morning, Risk Raider fans, Red Raider fans, any other fans of the show. Glad y'all are here. Glad to be on this morning. We both just got back from a trip and had some fun and learned some things. And man, what do you think?
I think we should start off with an apology. I'd like to tell...
We almost always should do that.
We were around some good friends. It was a lot of fun. I'm sure we need to apologize for something that we said or did. I'm sure it was funny. I can guarantee it was funny. But now you got home and you went, that really wasn't that funny.
Did I really say that?
It was funny, and you're just going to have to accept it. And
Sorry.
You're just going to have to know if you invite us, that happens.
Yeah.
So it was a great time. No, I'm like you. I'm a bit tired. Oh, I got to do the disclaimer, don't I? Hello, everybody. Welcome to Risk Raiders. We're so glad you're here. We're all here. By the way, let me tell you something. Subscribers, thank you, subscribers, because we added about 25 to 30 subscribers at our little get-together. And thank you. I want to thank everybody for doing that. And if you haven't subscribed, please do, because all it does is just help us get our message out. That's the purpose. But anyway, today on Risk Raiders, this is going to be awesome because it got Brent and I thinking, because we both had to travel a little bit. We need to do a little show here to talk about some of those risk and just some of those peripheral things that you need to think about when you're going out of town. Some people might be spring breaking. People are going to summertime start going on trips. These are some kind of those things that you might not think about that you need to think about. So we're going to cover that today. If we get into insurance, we want you to know that we're not going to be giving you any professional advice, anything like that today. You need to contact your agent, your lawyer, your accountant for that. But it's a great show. And these people, we had the best time.
Had a great time.
And I learned a lot. I learned a lot on this meeting. I always met some new friends. Thank you to our new friends. Welcome, everybody. Hello out there.
Yeah, we met some cool people that we did not know before that were in the group.
And here's the beautiful thing, is some of them had some of the best ideas for future shows. That some of them are going to be on.
Yes.
Or the show is going to occur because of them. I'd like to say thank you to everyone. Remember, if you have an idea for something for Risk Raiders, send it to us in the comments or Brent's emails on our page. But it's the best ideas ever that we didn't even think about, man. So thank you all very much for that. And a big shout out to Krista. Krista did that one for us.
Oh yeah, that was excellent.
That was great. And then we have friends who are going to help us on the show, like Chelsea and some other folks who are going to come on. Anyway, great meeting. Trips were important. Everybody's going to be going on business trips, vacations, and all those things. Yeah. And I hadn't been out of town a long time. And this kind of was the thing that made me think, I need to probably bone up on it. We need to talk about it a little bit. So you're probably a bigger traveler than I am, Brent, and you're kind of more of our technology guy, because it seems like that's the problem, right? Is like these damn phones and all the stuff around them. They're great, they're wonderful, but they can be a
security problem.
They can, for anybody. And this is any age, right? So what are you thinking about the technology? Everybody's all freaking about. What should people do if they're going to head out of town?
I think you just got to be careful with your phone, first of all. Like, don't leave it in a place. You know what I mean?
I left, okay, so here everybody knows I'm a little paranoid about the phone thing. It's like on me all the time. I'm wanting to get the radiation, as something like it. And I don't know how it happened, but I was at a bar. First one I've ever been to. And I then went from the bar to another area. And as soon as I got up to the other, I went blank. I left my phone at the bar. And I think I almost ran down. It could have been, if they had stairs, I could have done it in 30 seconds. But we got down there.
You were definitely panicked.
I was panicked, but I was trying not to panic. But I was cursing a lot. So that means that I was panicked. And I walked in and I saw it. It was sitting right there on the table.
Next to left it.
But a buddy was right there. It was a good thing. But the reality is it was a close call, because we have now every year you're putting more and more information. And if you use multi-factor authentication, all that crap is coming to that device, and you could really be in a pickle if you don't have it, or it gets stolen, or the data's gone, right?
Thing is, if you're like, a friend of mine had his phone snatched out of his hand when he was in, I think it was Thailand or somewhere crazy like that.
Oh.
They rode by on a little motorcycle thing and grabbed his phone, right? He was standing in front of his hotel. And he said, the worst thing about it is that all of a sudden I had no ability to do anything. Not only could he not call anyone, but he couldn't access his bank accounts or get money or anything. Everything's tied to your phone. So you've got to be very careful with that thing. And especially when you're overseas and you're connecting to weird Wi-Fi's and stuff like that. you should really think about using a VPN. I mean, I think it's a little bit of a pain to set it up, but it really protects you. They can't lock onto your IP address and things like that. So, and it's just a bigger theme, like hotel Wi-Fi's and all that. They're open. And you've got to be careful with those things, especially if you've got your laptop, you're hooked up to hotel Wi-Fi with your laptop. Other people on that network can see your device, and you need to make sure you've got your device set to public networks so that it doesn't expose any of the ports on your.
And what about the roaming feature? Sometimes we have on there where it has the roaming feature for Wi-Fi, like wherever you go, it picks it up. Is that something that you turn that off?
Yeah, because if you catch on and that, you don't see it as much anymore. But that was a way they used to really rip you off. Is like you would roam to another telephone network in another country, and they would charge you like $9,000 an hour.
Right.
For the phone data, and you get home and you're like, what's happening here? I've got a massive phone bill.
And I know this because my son's gone overseas recently on a trip and stuff. If you're going to go out of town, you need to contact your phone provider.
Absolutely.
Because you need to get on those systems, like the international thing. They also have safety things in place for the phone. That was a big deal. And I'll tell you what, that has become dirt cheap to do. And it was
do it before you leave.
Do it before you leave, and then you can easily turn it off. Like his deal was, it was turned on, and then you don't pay for anything unless he uses it. Right. So even if we forgot to turn it off and it's never used, I always turn it off. I personally, like even when we were in the hotel, I logged onto the computer, and we were in the States and all that stuff. But still, I used my hotspot off of my phone all the time. I use that where I go to the internet through my phone because
it's a lot more secure.
It's a lot more secure. Make sure you have a setting though on your hotspot that you have to have a password because other people could be piggybacking off of you. And anytime you can piggyback, that's an entryway. And I don't want anybody who does phone stuff to call me and go, no, it's not. I know I'm not an expert. But I just know that anytime it can interact, there's always a possibility it comes back in. But make sure your hotspot's on. Now, let me ask you this. What do you think about the chargers? So the hotel rooms all have the chargers and the clocks and all that stuff. But then what's the discussion going on about charging your phone at an airport?
Well, you always want to make sure you've got your little plug in the loop. In other words, don't take a USB-C and plug it right into a wall charger of some kind because you really don't know what that can be pulling data off of your phone.
Okay.
Not likely, but it's possible. And so I would say always use the plug adapter in front of your charging so that you're not sharing data with something rogue that you don't know about. So just a little safety.
Because I tell you, sometimes it's hard to remember that, especially if you're a family and you're going to go out. There may be 4 or 5 of you go and you're staying in one place, and maybe you're in one hotel room and everything's crammed in. And so we started taking surge protectors so everybody could have their plug to put it in there. Remember that when you travel, because sometimes you got plugs, you don't want things by the bathroom and all that. But that data stuff is just something else. You just have to think about it.
It's scary, man, because they get into your phone, you got a problem.
Or maybe they have a problem. They don't know what crazy crap I'm out of the phone. They're like, why is there nothing but Bugs Bunny? I know, he's just watched Bugs Bunny cartoons all day long. And I'm like, I want my cartoons back.
Exactly. It's like,
give me my phone back, you wascally wabbit. I'm the only one who'd go to jail for immaturity. There's nothing dirty on it. It's like, he never grew up. And I'm like,
he's like 5 years old.
He's like 5 years old again. Always has been. It's so much fun.
It's permanent.
You got to think about that. And then, so if you're going to stay on the phone, your social media too can be a problem with this.
This is where you really got to be careful.
And I know everybody wants to post their pictures and everybody wants to throw 3 million pictures of your kid, the same picture over and over again. We love seeing them. I don't look at any of them, but I'm just saying in general that this is going on, right? So is there a problem with doing that?
You need to be careful because you're time stamping where you are and the fact that you're gone from your home. And so I think people need to kind of wait till you get back to start putting the pictures up of where you're going because you're just telegraphing to really the whole world that, by the way, I'm gone from my house. And not only that, here's where I am. I mean, it's just, you need to be careful. You can't be as transparent like that as you want to be because there's bad actors out there.
I think the problem with it was, some of these things we're talking about, you've heard probably before, but you probably heard about it more 2 or 3 years ago. My concern is that people have thought that the technology and the safety has evolutionalized to where you don't have to still do these sorts of things, because I don't see it out there that much. Now, you and I probably see a little bit more about it in the positions we are in as risk managers in our other jobs. But the thing with it is it's not really talked about that much anymore. And a lot of the things is you just got to be reminded of the things you used to know, because I'm telling you, when we were sitting there in that hotel and I was thinking, I didn't turn off my roamer. I didn't do half of the things we're talking about here.
Right.
And I used to know all that. And so that's one of the reasons why we're doing the show, because you have the technology stuff as a problem, but then there's some old school issues, right?
Right.
So, just a hotel. What are we going to do in a hotel?
It's got to be careful, man. I'll tell you. I know this is controversial. People are big fans or now are saying the safes are not safe anymore because they can go right into them. I still like to use them. When I leave the room, I like to put my laptop in there and anything else I've got that's kind of valuable, and just, I don't know. It's easy to put it. I just don't want to leave it. I've done that before. I've left the hotel and left something in the safe.
Brent, I found out on this trip, everybody, that Brent, if Brent comes to your house on a trip, I've never really heard of this. Apparently, Brent just leaves his bags there.
Apparently.
Yeah, we were having this great
Coats.
dinner with we're sitting there with your friends, right? And I heard Bob say, "Hey, I got your bags."
Got your bag in my car.
I was like, well, I thought maybe I don't know, maybe it was a gift or I don't know. I'd be interested to see what he got. And then Bob opens it up and it's like 2 travel ones. Suitcase.
I left my entire suitcase at his house by the back door. I got it downstairs and to the door. I just didn't go the extra mile and put it in my car.
And apparently, if you're friends with Mr. Borgstadt, this is what we call a regular happening.
Yeah.
And we would appreciate y'all logging onto our comment sections and just
say what I've left.
Yeah, and we're trying to map out where all he's left stuff. This is kind of one of those things. I guess we could add for hotel safety, make sure you take your damn bags when you leave.
And your coat.
Yeah, I've never seen anybody go on a trip and come back with twice as many bags as they had before, and you didn't buy one. I don't know.
Yeah, I came home with a lot more stuff than I left with, so I got a bunch of it back.
Well, you told me, you go, cool. Oh, look, a new wardrobe.
Well, yeah, there was stuff in there that I wanted. I was like, oh, man, I'll adopt kits in there.
Dude, you have a guy that has a closet that he just leaves for you.
Yeah, one of my buddies that we used to go to a monthly party at their house, a wine deal, that he finally was like, man, we just dedicated a closet to the stuff that you leave. You had 3 jackets and 2 wine bags. And, he's like, you occasionally need to come over here and get all this stuff. And I was like, I don't know. Okay.
I know. But, if you're doing, it can happen anyway. But, those hotel safes, I'm like you. I still think they're better than not having them. When you're away and there's some vulnerability in every situation. You just can't be 100%. You have no control and you have to use what's available to you, right? So I think you use those safes. I think the other thing.
People are in and out of your room, whether you know it or not.
They're in and out of your room. And honestly, you use the deadbolts. I know a lot of people are covering up peepholes. Some people are putting towels under the doors for privacy. Some of these hotels I've stayed at, man. Now, the one we were at was not, but I've seen gaps this big under doors.
Yeah, it's a pretty big thing.
And it's a thing, and you're like, I don't know why they're doing that, and they're making sure the adjoining room doors are locked and secured. And I think there's devices now that you can buy to put on the inside of your doors. We're not wanting you to go paranoid, crazy.
No, you don't want to go crazy about it. You got to be careful.
And I think it depends on kind of where you're going, kind of what the trip is, and how much you know about where you're going. And that was the other thing too, and what will help you is if you're going somewhere and you don't really know, do you ever log on? Well, if you're going out of the country, if you think you're going out of the country, you need to go to the U.S. State Department website on their travel. It is a great website. This is one thing the government does well. But you can go to the State Department's travel guide and you can pull up any country, any town, anywhere, and they'll give you a level of security that's going on in the world today that changes off and on. But then they even give you some detailed things like that are great. And those places, maybe in some places you might take more You might do more safety things in hotels or Airbnbs. Sometimes you might not need to because we're not
They'll
trying to
tell
freak
you
you out.
what's going on there currently. Now that the travel accident program that we like, it does that too. If you tell it where you're going, it'll start sending you emails with updates on the security levels and things that are happening in that area. And it's good to know. I mean, you should prep yourself for what's happening there so you're not just falling in the door like a babe in the woods. I mean, you want to know if they're having protests or if there's certain parts of the city that you're going to you need to stay away from. You need to know that.
And it's one of those things that I have found to be there. That website from the State Department is actual real time.
It's good.
Sometimes some of these things you pull up and it's like, I don't know how old this data is. That is one service that you can get through our government that is reliable and good. And also it gives you all the information and data about where your embassies are, where the local consulate or what is it? Consulate? I don't know. Whatever. Consulate.
Thing is the one where they don't have an embassy. A lot of times they'll have a consular office there.
Yeah, but you don't need to buy a service for any of that to get it. Now, I want to talk about this travel policy, this travel accident thing, because is it insurance or is it more of a reimbursement? A travel policy? Is it an insurance policy? I have not done any of those. What would you consider?
So you're saying, is it an indemnity contract?
Yeah,
I think it is. That's actually a good question. I need to dig into that a little bit, but I think it's like anything else. If it's cheap or if you're relying on your credit cards, travel accident stuff, you're not getting much. I mean, it's always excess. That's the problem. It's excess over something you may or may not have some other place. And I think if you really want to get good travel accident coverage, you need to buy a policy. I'm sorry to say it, but the free stuff that you have, a lot of times, it's like anything else, it's free. It's just not very good. So, and I think some of the higher level credit cards, like if you have one of the Amex Black or whatever Gold, some of those levels of coverage I think are better, but you need to find out. I mean, you don't want to just assume that it has, coverage. Because I think, for me, when I think about travel accident insurance, I don't really give a damn about losing my bags, or even though I do lose them, but the thing you need to be thinking about is,
you don't lose them, you leave them.
You leave them. It's not like losing them. It's just forgetting them.
You broke up with your bag.
Yeah, but like the thing that's important is like medical evacuation and political evacuation. If things go wrong where you're at and you need to get out of there, how are you going to do it? Especially the medical. We had a situation with my wife's partners, I guess it was her, their sister-in-law got hurt in a foreign country, and they couldn't get her out of there, and the medical care there was so bad that she got a really bad infection, and actually by the time they got her back to the States, they couldn't save her. And it was terrible, and had they had a medical evacuation, I think they could have gotten her out of there in time to do something.
And most of your insurance policies, this is for anybody who's commercial, if you're a business owner listening to this, or you're personal, because a lot of these same rules, they're all pretty much the same on this show. But when you buy a policy or when you look at these things, you have to remember that your liability insurance, many times there's not worldwide coverage. You need to check that. So you need to call your agent and you need to ask your agent, hey, if I'm going to XY and I hurt somebody or break something, do I have liability coverage? And you need to do this on your liability and your auto policy. And if you have an umbrella, the same thing. Because many, many times there's not worldwide coverage for these things. There's certain countries that may be covered. Sometimes, depending on the type of policy, you can get it added. But one of the areas that we always ran into with people, the getting people out, but also if you break something or hurt somebody over there, if you get one of these policies or look at a foreign legal liability policy, because that's the only way you can buy coverage that goes over, and no matter where you are, it becomes their rules, their laws, and protects you. Because, man, you could go on a business trip, you could go on one of these trips and everything's great, and you have a car accident, or you accidentally cause somebody to get hurt one way or the other, and you are in a world you have no idea.
Well, and their laws are so different than ours. I mean, we have kind of a simplified, we have a criminal and we have civil. A lot of countries, everything's kind of criminal. If you get jammed up, they're coming to lock you up.
Yeah, it used to be if you're going overseas or anywhere, you take a lot of cash because that's how you're going to get home.
Yeah, that's how you're going to get out of a jam, but I don't know if that even works anymore.
I don't either because no one takes cash.
I guess
when you get held up by the local police, you have to really a debit card? Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary.
They have
But yeah,
they
I
have the
think
Apple Square for you.
right. Yeah. Do you have a tip? But no, it's crazy. And, you know, you got to really think through some of this stuff. And if you're going overseas, I think the medical evacuation, especially if you're older, I mean, I hate to say it, if you're older and you've got some health issues, it could, you know, you could have something happen that rapidly turns into a big problem. And you need to get out of there, get back home for treatment. And, you know, if you have to pay for it, it's like $100,000 to get flown out of a place.
Well, and even sadly, if you were to expire on the trip, I mean, there is the repatriation of your body. We're not trying to get dark and all this, but that
Complicated.
it all comes into these things that you need to, whether you're a business or a family on these things. When you're going overseas, you know, sometimes you just think it's going to be the same. Or some people, you know, just like if they go to Mexico every year, and I'm not just picking on Mexico, but they go every year, or they go to Costa Rica every year, and they're used to their thing. And that's where it can become a problem, because you might have just been doing this for so long, you don't know. Yeah. So every time you're going to go out of town like that, you know, you need to make that call to your insurance agent and ask those questions. And then if you're traveling with a group or a third party, you need to ask them those questions, get copies of things, and start reviewing it. It really, folks, it happens more than what you think. And it's expensive and it's scary. And
you can't fix it when you're there. If you're jammed up and you're out of country, you can't really go back and go, oh, I need to get a medical evacuation policy because we got to get John out of here.
No, and maybe you need one when you go to Disney too, because sometimes you just got to get the hell out of there.
I've seen too much Mickey Mouse.
Wouldn't it be
out
great?
of here.
I'm standing there and it's a small world. And I'm like, I got to go. And then all of a sudden the Black Hawk shows up, picks me up because I had the expatriation policy. They'll ask you, what was the problem? And I go, man, that line was just too long. And they're like, you poor bastard, here's a Diet Coke. And I'm like, thank you.
Yeah,
I love
you didn't buy
policy.
the Fast Pass or whatever it's called.
For me, it was the Fat Pass. I was like, I can't stand here.
Sedgefield card.
Either you're going to have to move me to the front, or you're going to have to go get me a churro, because I'm not going to make it. Can we buy a policy to get evacuated from Disneyland? No, nothing's wrong. There's nothing going on. I just got to get out, and I cannot wait 3 hours to walk to the line.
Right.
But seriously, those are some things. Can you think of anything else? I mean,
well, I think we ought to talk quickly about kids traveling for spring break and stuff, because there's some issues. You know, kids go out with their friends and they go to the beach somewhere. And I would recommend at this point in time, let's stay in the country right now. It's a little weird out there, especially in Mexico. They're having some issues. I wouldn't be in a hurry to go down there to go to the beach right now. I would say, go to South Padre, go to Florida, you know, whatever. But when you do, stay with your friends. Don't wander off. You know, don't run away. Turn on your locator on your phone and share your location with your friends. So that if they can't find you, they'll know where you are.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking this morning, would it be crazy to get one of those, what do they call a little Apple, the little
AirTag?
AirTag? Would it be crazy to like wear an AirTag around a lanyard?
No, I'm going to tell you what.
Share that with your friends so that y'all all can see each other all the time, even if you lose your phone.
Yeah, so there are people and there are wallets now out there that actually have a little slot to put your own AirTag in. And I guess AirTags can be a great little trick for you, but you also need to check your stuff to make sure that no one's planted one anywhere around on you that you did not mean to. But from a proactive standpoint, the AirTag is a great device like that, because my son got a wallet actually, and it has a little slot to put the AirTag in. And I think you hedge your bet on doing it as safety. I think that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that.
I tape one to the inside of my luggage. Like, you can a lot of times unzip the liner.
I've heard
and
that.
I'll go in and tape it so that they can't really see it. But that's saved me once already where my bag got lost. I can't remember if our flight was delayed or something, but our bags didn't get there when we got there. That's the good and the bad, is you can see where your bag is. And if it's not on the plane with you, you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, but you might also have to think, did I leave it at Bill's house?
No, that's why now you've gotten to the heart of why it is. So I know where I left it.
It's for you to find out where your stuff is.
So I can see, it's at my friend Bob's house. There it is. It's in his den.
Yeah.
So
I think the AirTag, that's a great idea. Turning on the Find My Phone, make sure your locator's on. Don't try to hide from people when you go on a trip, folks. I mean, come back and ask for apologies, but if something goes wrong, people need to be able to
They
find
don't
you.
know where to look for
And
you.
they need to know where to look for you. And y'all have all seen these stories on the news, and we're not trying to take you to that level. But you know that there are things, and I'm going to tell you, a lot of these young folks, and we're going to just be honest with it, you're going to be probably many cases, not all cases, you might be drinking more than what you think you're going to be drinking. You've got to be careful with your alcohol intake. And Brent, you know, you reminded me of you gotta protect that cup
Got
that
to
you
keep
have.
an eye on your drink.
I mean, that is not just a going overseas thing, folks. That happens everywhere. And if you have young people, it's not hard to find a story where somebody put some sort of pills,
Knockout juice
knockout
or
drug,
whatever it is
something
in
bad
people's drinks.
in a drink. And when
Not
you
just
get,
women either, by the way.
oh no. I would have nothing to worry about on that. But I'm just saying in general, you've got to do some of these basic things now because there's nefarious people out there, but you should go. You can have a great time, a safe
Just be
time.
careful.
Just be careful and, just don't act like that it's not going to happen to me sort of thing. Just do about 3 things and go. Then you don't have to worry about it. Go have fun. Put your AirPod in there. Turn your phone on. Do some things. Monitor each other.
Share your location with the people you're traveling with at least. You don't have to share it with your mom and dad. But if you're going to the beach with 6 or 7 friends for a spring break trip, y'all all share your location. So
that's right.
If one of them is like, "Where's Joe?" or "Where's Jenny?" you're like, "Well, let's look." And if there's someplace they shouldn't, you can go find them. It's like, "Hey, I don't think they wandered off with some guy or some girl." You're like, "We better go check on them."
Yeah. And, we talked about don't go anywhere alone, but I'll tell you, instead of 2, take 3. Because I'm going to tell you that there's a weird deal with 3 people. The safety level with 3 people goes up dramatically than 2 people. And I don't know why that is. I'm not an expert in that. But you need to go in groups, not just in doubles.
3 or more.
Have 3 or more. Have a wonderful time.
Be careful.
And if you need to invite the risk graders, now we're not going with the young people because we can't.
No, we're not going to spring break anymore.
So, I'd have to pull out of the spring break trip. Any other trip, world travel, that sounds wonderful and great, you can pose it to it. We'll see if we have schedule, but we're busy people and we have things to do. We can't just go on vacations all the time. I think this is good, man. This has been good for me. I've learned some things.
It's good.
I didn't think about the AirPod. I mean, I'm just not, you're.
Oh, yeah, go buy a whole
teach me
sack
something
full
on
of them. I'm telling you can't have enough of those things. You should have one in every bag or backpack, or like your son. I didn't think about putting it in the wallet. Turn your location on your phone, share that with the people you're traveling with. That's just good, simple stuff that, after the fact you can't go back and do, but get you out of a jam. I've had my luggage get lost in the airport, didn't come off the thing, and I was like, well, it's around here, and I found it was off in a side deal where they'd gotten it mixed up, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to take us a while to find it." I'm like, "No, I'm looking at it. It's right over there." And I luckily had the luggage tags, that they give you to check out. And I went over there and was like, "That blue bag right there, that's mine. Give it to me." The
one that has fluids ripping out of it.
Yeah, it's got a broken wine bottle in it.
Yeah.
That's
why don't you let me open it?
Yeah, don't open it.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, we hope everybody on this traveling season that's going to start for the next few months, I hope you have a great time. Post don't post where you're going, when you're going. Tell us, come in our comments and tell us if some of the things we learned, or if you have a tip that you've learned.
Travel tips posted on this show. It'll be posted up today. Post it in the comment section. We really appreciate you guys listening to that. Now, I'm going to have to talk about something I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about it. Well, we got March Madness coming up, and they've been doing some weird things in basketball. We can beat 1 or 2. We can't beat unranked teams.
I know. I'm afraid to talk about it. So I'm not talking about it because I'm disappointed, but I'm like, man, we're rocking 3 in a row, and we're doing great, and then we lose to TCU, and I know it happens. Everybody in the Big 12's good. I know, but I'm like, I don't know what
that was frustrating.
Yeah, but we weren't paying any attention because we went and had that great dinner, and we didn't even check the score.
2 great dinners.
But we didn't even check the score.
I know, we weren't looking. We were definitely bad fans that night.
And
we
that
were eating so good that I think we were distracted by food.
I think maybe we owe the team an apology because I feel like when we watch, it's pretty good. I don't really feel normally lucky on sporting events, but y'all don't know it. But I bless this team a lot by me watching, because the ones that I've missed, I don't want to tell you about it, but look at your record and you can almost figure it out. So, yeah, but I was bad on that. That won't happen again. But I'm still like gung ho about this team and the program. And then I'm just,
we're gonna this is exciting coming up, the tournament and then the March Madness tournament.
Crazy.
Wow.
Good times. You know, if you're a college basketball fan, and I'm probably not, I'm a Texas Tech college basketball fan, but
Yeah,
if you're a real college basketball fan, I mean, you're about to be in the dream world, and
Oh,
you know,
yeah, it's fixing to start.
and I love it for those folks because if you really eat it up and you really love it,
This is your time.
This is your time. You know, it's like when baseball goes in the postseason play. Just do whatever you want to do. But we love our Red Raiders, and we hope that we kind of got that one out of our system, kind of like some of that tequila I had. And that we hope that now, man, we just slay everything in front of us. Smile and wave, boys. We're winners. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. You got to make sure your guns are properly up.
This is going to be hard. Look at that. I did it like
the
that.
microphone's kind of in the way. The red and black microphone.
I'm not touching it because it's a Risk Grader microphone, specially made just for us. Not really.
Custom made for us.
No, but we should thank the company Rode or whoever for coming up with the idea because they're genius. They're not sponsors. They have nothing to do with the show, and they should have given them to us, but we understand it's a business thing. But anyway, man, I'm telling you, this has been a great show. I think we've done all the damage we can
travel, and we got home safely, and everything's all good. So, I mean, I'm hoping everyone's going to have a great weekend and looking forward to, we got some great upcoming shows. It's all good, man. That's all good.
That's it. And hey, remember, if you've had a little too many of the little pops out there, use your Uber and Lyft. Okay, let's don't do anything stupid, right?
Especially if you're going on a spring break trip, boy, don't drink and drive. Don't do it.
Don't do that. Well, listen, everybody, we thank you so much for watching Risk Raiders. We encourage you to subscribe. That helps us very much with the YouTube people. Like and subscribe, share. Thank you again. We hope you have a wonderful week. We will be back next week with a whole new episode of Risk Raiders. You didn't get your guns up.
Guns up, baby. Here it is. Right here. Double guns. All right, everyone take care. Great weekend. See everyone next week.